So we would learn al-ilm wal-amal. We would learn the knowledge and the application of those verses simultaneously. Now someone might say, you say to someone, why don't you memorize the Quran? Oh, because the companions used to not memorize the Quran until they moved on. So you're going to stick to 10 surahs of Juz' Amma and just say, well, that's enough for me. You're not going to do the hifth or the amal. It doesn't work that way. This is to infuse your hifth with something else, to put something into the memorization of the Quran, the application of it as well, so that you can see how you can further benefit from that knowledge. Because on the Day of Judgment, that knowledge will be a proof for you or against you. It'll be a proof for you or against you. And then subhanAllah, taking that attitude of not just how you read the Quran, but how you read everything else. One of my favorite narrations in this regard. And subhanAllah, the narration is from Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, who narrates from Al-Waqi' ibn Jarrah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu rahimahullah, who narrates from Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah, three of the greatest scholars of Islam, who were schools not just of how to learn, but how to practice. These were three men that were distinguished by their piety as well as their knowledge. And guess who the last person being narrated from is? Sufyan says, I narrate from my mom. Sufyan al-Thawri has a narration from his mom. He said, when I was a child, my mom told me, and we were very poor. She said, اذهب فاطلب العلم حتى أعولك أنا بمغزلي. She said, go and learn. Go to all the halaqas you can. I want you to learn. I want you to go to this scholar and go to that scholar and go to this scholar and go to that scholar. And she said, I'll support you with my sewing and my washing the dishes and cleaning up. I'll do what I have to do. Most of the imams had single moms. Most of them came from single moms, subhanAllah, that produced these incredible people. Sufyan al-Thawri said, my mom said, I'll figure it out. I'm going to earn this money. I'm going to spin and sew and wash. I'll do all the odd jobs so that you can continue to go and learn from the best scholars in the world. But then she said to me, Ya bunay, O my son, إذا كتبت عشرة أحاديث فانظر هل ترى في نفسك زيادة في خشيتك وحلمك ووقارك. She said, oh my son, every time you go and you write 10 hadiths down, I want you to stop with those 10 hadiths. And I want you to ask yourself with those hadiths, because that was the ilm of the time. Go and collect the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ. Ask yourself, have you increased in your fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Have you increased in your humility? Have you increased in your dignity and your character? And if you have not, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا يَضُرُّكَ وَلَا يَنْفَعُكَ. Know that all the stuff that you're learning is not going to benefit you or harm you. It's just information at that point. It's only knowledge when it transforms. It's only knowledge when you look at how to apply it in yourself. Think about what we teach our children in regards to learning this religion. We send our kids to learn the Quran. We send them to Islamic schools. We send them to learn hadiths. We send them to learn this, learn that. But if they're coming home and they're not seeing a house of Quran and a house of seerah and a house of hadith, you're teaching them early on cognitive dissonance. This mom is saying, look, I'm going to do this and I'm happy to do this, but I'm not doing this so that I can put you, hold you as a trophy when you memorize so many hadiths and say, my son is Sufyan al-Thawri. I'm doing this because I want you to take every 10 ahadith and see how you can apply them in your life and how you can grow closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibrahim ibn Ismail, he said that the Salaf used to say, كُنَّا نَسْتَعِينُ عَلَى حِفْظِ الْحَدِيثِ بِالْعَمَلِ بِهِ. That we used to in fact memorize by practice. Meaning what? We learned to memorize this religion, to memorize the sacred texts of this religion because we practiced them daily, and we would tell ourselves that this is how we're going to keep memorizing them, because they were constantly making the connection between everything that they do in life with that sacred knowledge. And so when the Prophet ﷺ used to say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa', oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from knowledge that is of no benefit, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us in knowledge that is beneficial, that transforms us. And it goes back to us being willing to commit the time and to refine the intention as we approach this knowledge. Anything that you're reading, anything you're listening to, take the time to ponder upon it and see how you benefit from what you are listening to and what you are learning. Allahumma zidna ilman nafi'a. Allahumma, we ask you, O Allah, to increase us in beneficial knowledge. Allahumma zidna ilman wa imanan wa yaqina. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in knowledge and in faith and in certainty. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه الغفور الرحيم.